Hey y'all, welcome to Self Care with Tisha. So I got a question about, well, it wasn't a question, it was a topic about post breakups. And so I said, okay, I'll tackle this one. Post breakup. So when a relationship ends, right, I'm going to assume that it wasn't something that you wanted, it wasn't something that you expected, but the relationship has ended. And so now you're in this stage of experience. It is also a loss, right? And I'm sure it's painful depending upon what that breakup entailed. Like, was there infidelity? Was there lies, deception, right? Was it something you wanted? Was it a mutual breakup? Like, all those things matter, right? But even within all of that context, there is still this element of experiencing a loss, something that was different, something that you were committed to and connected to that is no longer there. And I'm sure that there has been things and experiences that you've had together that you no longer are having. And so, one of the things that I first recommend is really loving on yourself, right? At that time when you've experienced a breakup, one of the best things to do, in my estimation, is spending time with the things that you enjoy. What feels good to you? What do you love, right? Is it, I like going to the movies and watching a really, really good movie? Girl, get your blanket, get your popcorn, get up in that movie theater, have a self date with yourself. I love Starbucks, right? So it's like having my drink makes me feel really good. Maybe it's a massage. Maybe just spending some time with yourself, loving on yourself is really, really important. And then, another thing I love when folks do is call your girls. Have a post breakup get together where they're love bombing you. They're bringing all your things, right? They're bringing your Starbucks if you like that. They're bringing your chocolates if you need that. They're bringing your favorite movie. They're bringing your favorite candy. They're doing all those things, and you're coming together and you're just loving on each other, right? And you're reminded of your value and things that bring you joy outside of this relationship, right? And so, really love taking that time to be intentional about loving on yourself. The other thing, after you have spent some time doing that, reflection is really important, right? Being able to reflect on the relationship as a whole, how you showed up in this space, how your partner showed up in this space, what things would you want to do differently, what values have you discovered that you now have that maybe you didn't have before, were there boundaries that were crossed that you now want to set, are there new boundaries you need to set, right? What do you want to, who is the person you want to be in the next relationship? Who is the person you want in the next relationship, right? What does that look like? What did you learn from this dynamic, whether it was someone being unfaithful or you just mutually deciding this is not working for me. There's always something that you can learn and grow from in this space. I encourage you um, to seek a therapist in that conversation, because there is always the possibility that, let's say if it was infidelity, you're going to want to process that, right? There may be some thoughts that you're having that are not helpful to you, right? That are actually making you feel worse about yourself and about your value. There's this thing called cognitive distortions, right? And so an example of that is maybe when you're operating in like absolutes. I'm never going to find anybody else. I'm never going to be able to trust anyone else, right? And so being able to be in a space where you can have someone that kind of challenges that thinking and helps you reframe that in a way that serves you better and reminds you of your value. And so a lot of times we can go internal, and there are areas in which we can blame ourselves. So maybe we did something in the relationship which caused it to end. And so now we're beating ourselves up about our behavior, right? And so finding yourself in a place, well, you know, acceptance of what was done or what I did, but also this decision and this choice now to be different, to be better, to show up in a different way. And so having someone walk you through that process is super important. Um, but so those are my tips for post breakup blues, I'll call them post breakup